Welcome to the third installment in the MPPT control design series. In this video, we'll be looking at the PCB that we got from PCBWay. PCBWay provided these PCBs free of charge, but they have no say in my opinions regarding their service. So the PCB I got from them, I have been working on for a bit, and I'll show you some of the work in progress shots that I took with the PCB while I was working on it and soldering the components. So the soldering part will be just done by me, and I won't really be posting that since just putting the components and soldering it. It's quite difficult to work on the PCB and film at the same time. So I'll just be overviewing the PCB and then we'll come back to the testing of the PCB. So this PCB I got in a red color. This PCB in terms of quality from what I can see is pretty decent. So if I bring you closer, you can see the manufacturing is quite good. So fine detail like the silk screen is quite difficult to get. So I have a habit of doing a lot of silk screen art and I have quite fine text on the PCB. So if you look at the cutouts that I have for the text in a custom font, they're quite sharp even if you get quite close to it. And going around the PCB, none of the silk screen has any manufacturing issues. So that is one thing that I use to judge if the PCB manufacturing quality is decent or not. Since to get sharp silk screen is quite difficult, and some manufacturers will also charge you an extra amount if you want to get the fine details or do high definition silk screen. So in this case, the silk screen I have not specified anything special. It is what they offer. So anyone that orders PCBs from them, they're going to be getting the same definition in the PCB silk screen. When it comes to the hot air leveling, it seems pretty typical as well. I have worked with other manufacturers, and the silk screen, the hot air leveling is pretty similar to what we get here. It You can see some waviness in the solder, but that is pretty typical for hot air leveling. If you need perfect flatness for something like a BGA package, you would have to go for the gold flash finish. The PCB I have been working on, so there are some components populated, but other than that, I'm quite happy with what I have gotten. When it comes to color, you can be the judge of what you think of this red color. Color is something that I wanted to look at when I was ordering the PCBs from them. So when I ordered my PCBs, I had gotten my business card also printed. So it is quite a nice yellow color. If you see, it is quite a warm yellow color, which is quite pleasant as far as I'm concerned. Sometimes in the renders, the yellow color looks like a really cold color, but this is under good lighting, and in the good light, it is quite clear that it is much more of a warm yellow. It leans towards orange if you ask some people, but to me, it is perfect. I really like this yellow color. So, if one reason I like this yellow color is if you look at the branding on my website, the website is in a warm yellow and green teal ish color palette. So it quite aligns well with my website's color palette. So I do quite like it. Another thing you should note is the fine detail on this cutout. So this is a cutout in the solder mask. So you can see how fine of a detail they are able to manufacture. This is again being my business card. I use this to determine how precise they are able to manufacture the parts for me. I have put holes in the pads in this side, but I didn't want, it since it's going to be soldered by hand, it's not really a problem, and they did not really complain me putting the vias in pads. And if you look on the bottom, you can see how fine of a pitch I have on my test card, and they are able to manufacture it just fine as you would expect. If you need more precision, you can simply ask for it and they will accommodate you. So all of these pads I have put vias inside of them, which is not ideal. I know that very well, but again, these are uh, just to observe or just to see how well they are able to manufacture it. So in that regard, I'm quite happy. This is based on another person's GitHub project, but I have modified it quite a bit. So yes, it says it is a design by me, but I mean, from the original design, some of the footprints and some of the uh, markings on the left side are kept. Otherwise, most of it has been changed. This is an LED business card, so I can install an LED. I can install LEDs on the front. I can put a battery in the back and also put a switch. So I can wear it around my neck using this hole, and that allows me to show it around while I'm at the networking conferences. So black is another popular color. I have gotten my business card manufactured in black, and you can see how the manufacturing quality is. Black is quite a popular color because everyone wants to be minimalistic these days. Everyone wants to show less. And black and white is quite a sleek color. I'm not going to disagree with that. But to me, it is a bit of a plain color. But it is a good test of how the black color looks like. Sometimes the black is going to be glossy, sometimes it's going to be matte. Sometimes you have an option of choosing whether you want a matte finish or a glossy finish. So this glossy finish hides all of the copper tracks quite well. So that's another reason why sometimes they will go for a glossy black PCB, because by eye it is quite difficult to determine where the copper tracks are running. The shininess makes it quite of an eyesore to reverse engineer it just by looking at the tracks. But I mean, it's not impossible to reverse engineer a PCB which is in a gloss black color, but it makes it more difficult. So if you see from this angle, you cannot tell there is a copper track running from the battery holder to the switch. But only if you angle it just right, you can see now that there is a copper track running from the battery to the switch. So again, if you were looking at this on a more translucent silk screen, it would be much easier to see. So overall, I'm quite happy with the PCBs that I got from PCBWay. They were quite quick to manufacture and deliver, even though I have something that may or may not be as common as some of the other options. For example, the yellow business card, it might not be the most popular color, but still they manufactured and sent it out to be delivered within a few days. So, I mean, they get a lot of orders, so that does contribute to the quick manufacturing for any combination of colors, layers, substrate materials, or impedance control that you might require. So again, if you want to get your own boards manufactured, you can go to the link in the description. That is an affiliate link that also gives me a commission. And other than that, I'll see you in the next installment, which will be covering the testing of the PCB. Until then, here are some shots of me soldering the PCB.